God, I'd love to write that. And when I got off the train, I went straight home and I started writing.
The difficult thing's going to be to get published. If it's published, it will be huge.
Of millions of fans, all of whom were very invested in the story and wanted to see what they wanted to see. And I knew where I was going, and I had to put on mental blinkers a lot and just think, I know where I'm going, I must not be influenced by this. I often get asked by younger readers what I would advise if you want to be a writer. This is the way I did it, so that's the only advice I can give.
Hello my dear friends, welcome to my channel Blissful Stories. I am divyachelwani. I am a writer, and just like me, if you have passion to make writing as your career and wanting to earn thousands of dollars, then today's video is for you. Today we are going to learn 4 things from a best-selling author, none other than J K Rowling. So let's get started without further ado. Friends, if you're struggling to get idea for your book, then let's see how J K Rowling got an idea about her book, the best-selling book, Harry Potter.
I was on the train from Manchester to London and it just came.
Had something like that ever happened to you before?
Yes, truthfully. I mean, other ideas had just come to me because I think if you're a writer and that's what you spend a huge amount of time doing, ideas do come to you. But nothing had ever come so with such a, I thought, God, I'd love to write that. And when I got off the train, I went straight home and I started writing.
So friends, if you have idea for your book, then start writing. Who knows, your book will be the next best-selling book. But wait, are you struggling to have confidence on your book? Now let's see how J K Rowling got confidence on her book.
I remember once, and it was like I'm going to call it a flash of clairvoyance now. Obviously, if it hadn't come true, it would just be some random crazy thought I'd had. But I do remember one day writing Philosopher's Stone. I was walking away from the cafe where I'd been working.
Philosopher's Stone, which became
Sorcerer's Stone, exactly. So that's the first novel. And I had this moment where I suddenly thought, it was like another voice speaking to me, and the voice said, the difficult thing's going to be to get published. If it's published, it will be huge.
Wow.
And that is exactly what it was.
So there was some hint that the voice had said to you.
Well, the thing is, you've got to believe, haven't you?
Yes.
You know, I was not the world's most secure person. I wasn't someone with an enormous amount of, in fact, I'd say I was someone with not much self-belief at all. And yet in this one thing in my life, I believed. That was the one thing in my life. I felt I can tell a story.
Friends, don't forget to watch a special video on the real life of J K Rowling at the end of this video. And if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you won't miss out any new video. Now friends, you have idea for your book, you have confidence to write it, but you are still struggling to focus on your book, aren't you? Now let's hear out what J K Rowling has to say regarding this problem of ours.
There's always trepidation. I mean, I think that people might be surprised to know that I felt trepidation every time I produced a Potter book. You know, the weight of expectation there was I won't say crushing, it was extraordinary and wonderful to have that weight of expectation.
You were
but
competing
at times,
with yourself.
Yeah, and with the expectations, latterly, of millions of fans, all of whom were very invested in the story and wanted to see what they wanted to see. And I knew where I was going, and I had to put on mental blinkers a lot and just think, I know where I'm going, I must not be influenced by this.
Friends, now you have idea to write a book, you have confidence in it, and you're focused to write it. And you think that you have learned enough. But no, don't you think you're missing something important? Let me remind you, you haven't written a book before, so how can you write best-selling book? Don't you think this is a big problem? But don't worry, here is the J K Rowling best advice to write a best-selling book. Let's see it out.
I often get asked by younger readers what I would advise if you want to be a writer. This is the way I did it, so that's the only advice I can give. You've got to read as much as you possibly can, because that's the best way to recognise good writing and to learn what makes bad writing, and those are very good things. You'll probably go through a phase where you imitate your favourite writers. That's perfectly okay. That's another learning process. You resign yourself to writing lots and lots of rubbish. You just got to write that out of your system, and sooner or later you'll hit what you know you really should be doing and what is your genre. And perseverance. You've got to persevere, because it's a career with a lot of knockbacks, but the rewards are huge. I don't mean in the sense that if that's what you really want to do, to be able to do it lifelong is the best thing in the world. Very rewarding. But it's not a career for people who are easily discouraged, that's for sure. And to their parents, don't tell them it's unrealistic. Never say that. Because even if they're not published writing, well, writing is the passion of my life, so it's an important thing to do.
Special video on the real life of J K Rowling after she became best-selling author.
Right in here?
This is really the room. Well, I finished Philosopher's Stone in here. This is really where I turned my life around. Completely. I mean, my life changed so much in this flat. I feel I really became myself here, in that everything was stripped away. I'd made such a mess of things, but that was freeing. So I just thought, well, I want to write. So I write the book. And what is the worst that can happen? It gets turned down by every publisher in Britain, big deal. So, you know, it's really back to the wall time here. My bedroom's a lot, the bedroom is a lot tidier now, God, that's mad. This was a tip when I lived here. Oh look, Harry Potter books. Now that's really freaky. And for years now I felt like if it all disappeared, and some days I do feel like, is it real? Then this is where I would come back to, you know, this would be my baseline, I'd be back in Leith. And obviously if I'd known that 10 years, well, was it, yeah, 10 years on, I'd come back here with a film crew and there would be my published books in someone else's bookcase in this room. I mean, it's really incredible to me. It really, I mean, yes. Because it's such a well-worn part of my story now, it's a big yawn to hear how I wrote it, as though it was all some sort of publicity stunt I did for a year. But it was my life, and it was very hard. And I didn't know there was going to be this fairy tale resolution. And coming back here is just full of ghosts.
Friends, if you like this video, please don't forget to like it and share it with your friends. Also, if you are struggling with any kind of block regarding writing, mention it in the comment below. I will try my best to solve it. Till then, bye bye.